Welcome to the General Information slideshow for CLOG training. Let's get started. So, let's meet our CLOG commissioners this year. We have Vicky. You can see her email and her phone numbers if you guys ever need to contact her. And you have me. I'm Vivi, and my email and phone number are right underneath of my picture with me and my beautiful dog. If you guys didn't know, CLOG now has an Instagram, and it's at MHS CLOG. So join our remind is right underneath. The website is tinyurl.com/Milpitas-Clogs. If you need to know our Google Classroom class code, is right underneath. A form should have already been released, and it's basically us asking you guys what is your CLOG plans during this year's school year. Something else that's coming up is CLOG, which will be the week of September 7th to September 12th. Alright, so of course as a CLOG, you guys do get privileges at school, which can include using our MHS facilities, having publicity on campus, using the student bank, which is only for organizations, the support of the ASB leadership team and Mr. Manehal, and get to participate in our CLOG Rush event. So for your faculty advisor, they have to be present at all your on-campus, off-campus, and official virtual meetings and your events. And they're basically responsible for the withdrawals, deposits to your account, and for submitting the proper paperwork when you guys go off-campus events. And also, they're just like your guidance, your supervisor for all your meetings, activities, and events that pertains to your CLOG. Alright, so now we're on to our finances, so money. So, starting off, we're going to learn about how to get cashback requests. The main thing to note is that it has to be turned in 2 days prior to the event. If the cashback is for food sale, then you must have the CLOG minutes attached to it. When listing everything, make sure you include the unit price of it as well. And the minimum amount you can have inside of the cash box is $25. So it doesn't matter what quantity you have. You can have it in tens, fives, ones. Doesn't matter. It just has to have a minimum total of $25. And once you're done with filling it out, get it signed by your president, your advisor, and then turn it into the MHS Student Bank to Mr. Hollenbeck. Okay, so now on deposits. Deposits is what you turn in when you're turning in your cash box once you're done. So all the funds you guys raise has to be deposited into your account ASAP. You guys cannot make reimbursements from the funds you guys raise. That is illegal. Something else that's illegal is that no supplies are to be replenished with funds raised. When filling out the deposit slip, please be sure that 2 club officers or club members are counting the funds and signing that deposit slip. Never ever store money in the classroom overnight, and please don't mix up money from different events on the same deposit slip. Once you're done counting it, please be sure to face up the bills and band them all together, and then separate the coins into different Ziploc baggies by type. Alright, so purchases for student body funds. Please remember that all purchases must be pre-approved. Without that, then there is no guarantee of payment or reimbursement without the approval. So, please include a copy of your CLOG minutes approving the purchase with any and all purchase order requests. To get the pre-approval, get it by obtaining a purchase order if you want to be reimbursed. All requests for payment or reimbursements must be accompanied by an original invoice or receipt. If it's for an MUSD employee, then please see Mr. Hollenbeck to know the process. And when you submit it, please have a signed invoice, packing slip, and any other documentation of purchase to the MHS Student Bank for payment when the purchase order is completed. So, out-of-pocket expenses. All purchase orders out of pocket that's over $150 require approval signature from the principal. No commingling of funds. All requests for expenditures of student funds require the signature of the designated treasurer, CLOG advisor, and activities director on the meeting minutes, and the principal on the purchase order, with the required documentation with original receipts, invoices, contracts stating the amount to be paid. Please do not have your personal purchases on that same receipt, as the purchase for reimbursements. No commingling of funds. You can see the definition of commingle. And before purchasing all out-of-pocket expenses for approval of funds, you must have the stamp of approval from Mr. Hollenbach to ensure you have the proper funds in your account before you get it approved by Mr. Menehal. So here's how to fill out the purchase order sheet. On the left, you can see an example of the sheet itself with it's being labeled by different box numbers. And on the right, it tells you what goes in each box. For number 4 specifically, each different type of item needs to be on different lines. Just remember that when you're filling it out. But yeah, so here's your fundraiser type of information. So first we'll go over our process. So just remember that when you schedule it, it's a first come first served basis. So always have a backup date just in case if your date is taken up by another fundraiser from another CLOG. A fundraiser request must be submitted a minimum of 2 weeks in advance to your fundraiser date. Your fundraiser has to be approved by Mr. Menehal so he can be sure that's appropriate and doesn't conflict with any other events that could be on that day. All your money raised must be turned into your account immediately with a signed and totaled deposit slip. If you fail to approve a fundraiser and pull through with it, then you will be disbanded. And on your right, you can see the examples of allowed and not allowed type of fundraisers. So when you're dealing with fundraisers where you need to collect in money, please do not collect it on campus. You can do it anywhere else around the city. It could even be at the park across campus because you're not allowed to collect it on campus anyways. That's because MUC is liable for anything that you do that has its name Milpitas High on it. The district could get sued and your advisor could be a part of that suit as well if it is found inappropriate. There always needs to be transparency in regards to anything you guys do with charities or collecting money. And to your right, you guys can see an example of the fundraising application. So when you guys collect money from your CLOG members, here's how you guys should record it. Use a typed out spreadsheet with who, what, and exactly how much the person paid. And be sure the deposit slip is with it as well. And on your minutes, please be sure it is clearly said that what is able to be purchased, how much, and who is going to be directly paid. And be sure that the minutes are also already approved before you go buy anything else. That is very important. Be sure that the receipt is easy to see and is very clear with the date and amount to be paid. Under the name, if it's going to be payable back to a parent, be sure to have the parent's name on there since it is payable to them. But put the student's name and ID at the top of the paper. If you have more than one receipt for that same person, then please try to tape all those receipts onto one open PO reimbursement form. Once it has been photocopied, staple that onto your minutes. Go to the student bank to pick up the blue PO form, fill out the form, return it to the student bank, and Mr. Hollenbach will tell you when your check is ready to be picked up. So now on to conducting your meeting. So when you guys are having your meetings, please consider the needs of your group members. So like being inclusive, being sure that everyone's being treated equally and feeling belonged, clarifying roles like your facilitator, having a neutral person that's directing everyone's talking points and not really contributing ideas but encouraging everyone else to participate. Usually your group members will be active participants and will be supporting your facilitator. When you guys vote, you guys can use I move to, I second the, then you guys have your discussion, and probably towards the end you guys will have your voting. So you guys can use I, nay, but at the end of this, please be sure and please remember that meeting minutes are legal documents. So it is very important that you guys do check them. So for your CLOG meeting minutes, the template is tinyurl.com/CLOG template. I highly suggest for you guys to make a folder just so that it's easier for you guys to stay organized and all of that in your CLOG drive. When you guys go on to the CLOG template, please make a copy of it and rename the CLOG name part of it to your CLOG's name and then share that to your CLOG. Once you're done with making a copy of the minutes template and you're doing your meeting minutes, please change the highlighted parts so that it pertains to your CLOG. And only organizations will have an account number, so only organizations need to do that part. This is obviously what your minute template will look like before you guys start making the changes where you guys are having all of your meeting and you got to put it in. So at the time, that's when you get started. Old business, that's like things you guys talked about the last meeting. News business, that's like ideas. Brainstorming, approval of funds, that's where you're approving to buy things. So here is what an example of your minutes would look like when you guys have approval funds included as well. Only the organizations will have approval funds because they're the ones that have a bank account, obviously. Clubs, you guys will mostly just have the old business, and new business, you guys can just ignore the whole entire approval funds part of it. Here is the continuation of the example from the last slide, and something very important to keep in mind is that when you do have your approval funds, you must attach a printed evidence of the items being bought. So it could be like a screenshot of the shopping cart with the total price. Okay, so we have come to the end of our slideshow. Thank you for listening to me talk. And if you guys have not done the other 2 slides, please do so as soon as you guys can. And have a great rest of your day.